Greetings to all of you that are taking a few moments to watch this video. And with my colleague, we have titled our short presentation for you, Reintroducing Florence Nightingale, during her 200th bicentenary in the year 2020 and beyond. I'm Barbara Dossi. I'm the co-director of the International Nurse Coach Association, co-director of the Integrative Nurse Coach Academy, and the international co-director of the Nightingale Initiative for Global Health. And I'm recording today. We're early May 2020, and I'm in my home office in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
And I'm Diva Marie Beck. I'm coming to you from my home office in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada's national capital region. And I'm also an international co-director with Barbie of the Nightingale Initiative for Global Health. And it is a pleasure to be with you today, Barbie, and on our ongoing Nightingale journey, and with all of you who are watching.
And we will share with you that we had the pleasure of meeting in 1999, and here we're going into so many years of our work together, and our passion for bringing Nightingale forward with her legacy. So as we begin, we invite you to listen with soft ears, and this recording is on the internet that you can revisit. It was recorded in Nightingale's London home, July 30th, 1890, and I would just like to say that Edison went around the world recording famous people's voices when he perfected his wax disc cylinder. Oh my. The reason this is a significant month and a significant year is on May the 12th, 2020, Florence Nightingale will celebrate her 200th birthday. Yes, she's on the other side. And we are celebrating that 200th birthday and her bicentenary of her birth. And in the year of the nurse and the midwife, 2020, that has been declared by the World Health Organization. In the 1870s, Florence Nightingale pondered what nursing could be in the future. And we are the ones she envisioned, the nurses and the midwives. And I will also say, as you are going along, we see all of ourselves as concerned global citizens, and this will really be seen in a larger light because we are all in this together. And as I said that, this global COVID crisis has given us renewed understanding of truly what it means when we say we are all in this together. And so with this understanding, we also have renewed appreciation for the caring, the compassion, and the commitment of nurses and midwives that are bringing to the humanity during the global crisis. So we have three objectives for this short presentation. First, we will explore Florence Nightingale's legacy and look at those years. 1820, she was born. 1910, she died, of caring, health, and healing, local to global. We will identify her relevance for the 21st century developmental goals, and we will also consider what each of us can do and be in Florence Nightingale's footsteps as we move forward as a humanity. So having seen those objectives, Diva and I invite you right now to set your intention for the next few moments of what you would like to receive, having seen the few areas that we will explore. So if you would, take a breath in and out. You might even imagine that you can feel the burning candle flame of your human spirit, of your energy, of what you want to be and do at this beautiful, amazing, complex time in human history. So your breath in and out, and declare your intention. My intention And if you could come back into the room with us right now as we journey forward. So Florence Nightingale, again, her years, 1820 to 1910. Some people think she died 1840, 1850. She was just getting going then. She's a founder of modern secular nursing, and she's the first nurse theorist. So let's review our Nightingale legacy. And whether you are a nurse, a midwife, Nightingale speaks to all of us, and she has relevance for all of our professions. She was raised in a wealthy aristocratic family, and she was expected to marry a rich man. Unusual for her time, she was an avid student, also keen to learn about the world. She was inspired by her grandfather Smith's commitment to abolish the slave trade in the 1800s. You see this book on the left. It says A Letter of the Abolition of the Slave Trade, 1807, William Wilberforce. And what is key here is that Nightingale's grandfather, William Smith, was one of the key parliamentarians that worked with Wilberforce on this incredible event. So Nightingale began to have these conversations in her early life and throughout her life. These are the kind of people that came into her home, parliamentarians, men and women who wanted to see the health of humanity in many different ways. At the age of 17, Florence Nightingale experienced a call from God to serve humanity as a nurse. She wasn't sure exactly what this would look like, but she at least had this call. And she also chronicled similar mystical experiences across her long life, recording these in her journey, in her diaries. She trained in Germany and she studied historical French texts. We will also say that she spoke other languages: German, French, Italian, Latin, and Greek. She's most remembered for her service during the Crimean War, 1854 to 1856. She was called the Lady with a Lamp, and she was loved by the British and the Turkish soldiers alike. She also became a nursing administrator, a nursing educator, and an ardent advocate for sanitation, clean water, and environmental concerns, education, and human rights, especially for women and girls. You see here St. Thomas's Hospital, Victorian hospital that Nightingale was keen, and she helped with the design of this. On the very bottom, you can see the architectural plan in the very center of this. This is one of Nightingale's famous pavilion plans. And there is actually a pavilion plan that is still there, that is part of a small museum that is in St. Thomas's. And we certainly know in 2020 that we've had the merger of two hospital systems there. It's now called Guy's St. Thomas, and it is right across from Big Ben and Parliament, as you see right there, and the Thames separating the two. She's one of the first statisticians working on health outcomes and to influence health policies. Diva and I often, when we look about this, we are reminded, we wish that we had known about Nightingale's love for statistics and her passion for research early in her life. And let's look at this diagram, because this is absolutely key, and this is why we know Nightingale. She analyzed the data that she designed forms for, and all the data came to her, and she began to analyze while she was in the Crimean War. And so what you are seeing here, this is what's called an exploded pie chart. And rather than just a circle, what Nightingale was interested in doing is looking at the causes of death or mortality during her time in the Crimean War. So let's just look, and each of the wedge represents one of the months while she was there in the Crimean War. So from the center, the red going out is war wounds. From the center, and then the black in these months are causes primarily from 6 other fevers that could be diagnosed and logged in as to what the cause of death were. When we see then the red and the black and then all of the blue, this is the cause of preventable deaths that Nightingale recognized. Basically, You need clean air, clean water, clean food, clean housing, or the barracks where these soldiers were, and many other different things that are going on. This is the representation of what we are doing right now as concerned nurses and midwives, and all of you as concerned citizens. What can we do to heal planet Earth so that we have healthy people living on a healthy planet? She's widely regarded for her advocacy for cultural integrity and cross-cultural understanding. We see Nightingale here in the very center with a lace bonnet on, and you see that she has a paper and a pencil in her hand. We know the standing people by name who were different kinds of dignitaries or physicians or army officers, and she is also speaking several languages. So she is concerned about representation of people from the very beginning across cultural understanding. She's loved across the whole world, and almost all of the member states of the United Nations, 195 member states, have a stamp on Florence Nightingale. Nightingale was a leader in crafting the first Geneva Convention in 1864. She worked with several physicians and an army official to draft the British document that went forward to the first Geneva Convention in 1864. This is a key step in founding the International Red Cross, the League of Nations, and the United Nations. And I will speak briefly to Henri Dunant, who is the founder of the International Red Cross, a Swiss man who gave all the credit to his vision for creating an international Red Cross to Florence Nightingale's work during the Crimean War. Nightingale wrote more than 14,000 letters. Her library collection at the British Library is the second largest Victorian letter collection. Only Prime Minister Gladstone's is larger than hers. She also published over 200 manuscripts and combined army documents that are throughout different museums in London and actually throughout the world. We have here two examples of these publications. Notes on Nursing, published in 1860. It was first a 79-page document. It later, 6 months later, was published as a 229-page document and expanded, and that became the first textbook of professional nursing. On the right, you see Notes on Hospital. We've chosen here to put the publication of the third edition of Notes on Hospital in 1863 and 1862. And the reason we have this one is that the first sentence in her preface, she says, "The hospital should do the patient no harm." She called all of these skills health nursing. And a document that is in this particular book, and Diva will speak to this a little bit later as we go on. She said, health is not only to be well, but to use well every power we have. So Nightingale left all nurses, all midwives, all concerned citizens with an expansive worldview of how to carry forward her vision of health. And I'm going to now turn it to Diva that will continue this presentation.
Thank you, Barbie. This slide indicates what it is that she anticipated. Even for our work today, when she said health is not only to be well, but to use well every power we have to use, she said that we need to be thinking about all of the issues that impact upon health. Today we call those environmental and social health determinants. As you can see here, a woman helping a homeless man, giving him what he needs to have a little more health in his life. Nightingale identified environmental health determinants as clean water, clean air, food, houses and places of work. She's famous for her clean water work. And also social health determinants, the reduction of poverty, education, family relationships, and employment, local to global. These are all tipping points toward achieving a healthy world. And this infographic indicates how Nightingale's work incorporates all of these issues that we see clearly today. She worked on complex problems, including the problems of the urban poor, the poor children in London during her time. And she anticipated the issues that we are now framing as the strategic United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And you see here 17 goals, seems like quite a lot, but they are all interrelated. We've circled goal number 3, that is for health and well-being, but all of these other goals, including the 17th goal, global partnerships, are all each other's determinants. You can't have one without the other, and when you work on one, you're helping the other happen. It's a very exciting and interesting way to understand what we need in the world. So now, after we've given you this glimmer of Nightingale and this glimmer of how her work anticipated and carried forward to our work and our time and what we can do in our time, we bring you back to this candle flame and ask you to ponder again what it is that you hope to see in your own life, perhaps even what we would call your soul's purpose. What is your soul's purpose in all of this? How does it relate to Florence Nightingale's work and to the work that is so needed today? If you could just take in a deep breath and release it. And based on that idea, I'm going to be reading to you our Nightingale Declaration for a Healthy World. We, the nurses and concerned citizens of the global community, hereby dedicate ourselves to achieve a healthy world. We declare our willingness to unite in a program of action and to share information and solutions and to improve health conditions for all humanity, locally, nationally, and globally. We further resolve to adopt personal practices and to implement public policies in our communities and our nations, making this goal achievable and even inevitable, achievable and inevitable, beginning today in our own lives and in the lives of our nations and in the world at large. Can you hear Nightingale's voice for you in our time, in your time? Let's listen again with soft ears to what she wanted us to know from her voice. Thank you so much for watching our brief presentation. And we wish you well. These are the references that we have given for this work. And we say thank you again.